I share that story with my clients only. This is the first time I'm sharing it publicly.
Finally, a guy who speaks as it fucking is.
Today's guest is Shako Lokman, a communication coach and social dynamics expert. From transforming social anxiety into executive presence to decoding the hidden layers of human interaction, Shako has helped countless individuals upgrade how they show up in business and life.
Woke culture, toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off
All right,
by saying this. Most women aren't going to be happy in leadership positions. Somebody told me yesterday I shouldn't post my Rolex on my story. I said, who the fuck are you?
What the fuck? He noticed me. My friend, a cop, massively corrupt. He shows up in the cop car, in the cop uniform, and just comes in.
Not a single client has asked me for my certification. I don't have one, by the way. I'm not giving any refunds out, but
Motherfucker, when you have a business, you're all in. Because if you're not all in, you'll have a business for 2 months and then give up. So if you have a business for longer than 2 months, you're fucking all in.
People ask me, how did you blow up on Instagram? What did you do? What's the trick? My brother, no word of a lie. When you're being a yes man, you're not actually being authentic.
It's a sign of disrespect.
It's a form of manipulation.
How dare you fucking manipulate me? There was a while where I right after I quit RSD, where I was like, I don't want to say the word. It's like Voldemort, you know? Because I'm like, I don't want to be associated as... I didn't want my new followers to think I'm someone just because of my first business. I wanted to rebuild my reputation just based on my skill set as a business coach. And then I did this for like 3 years, made like over 10 million cash like just off that. And then I bought my one-on-one with Ty Lopez, paid him $100K. The first question I asked him is like, oh, I'm kind of scared to talk about that I used to do dating coaching because, you know, it's kind of a little bit politically incorrect. And he's like, dude, that's the best shit. You talk about it all the time. And ever since then, I'm like, yeah.
It's part of your story as well, brother. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people that know you, such as myself, knew you from back in those days.
Yeah.
And you inspired a lot of people during those days. I was having cigars and dinner with some friends and just some people that I met randomly in Dubai last week. And I told them that I was flying to Vienna. When they asked me what for, naturally I would say, doing a podcast with a gentleman named Max Tornow. Many people said, no way, you're doing a podcast with Max.
Sick.
A few of them, apparently they know you as well, like Ratmir. He works
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ratmir.
you hung out with him?
He's a good friend of mine.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's just... I'll have him on next time probably as well.
Nice.
We're
with
talking all
Nick,
the time.
maybe?
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yes,
like, come to Dubai, we'll do the thing. Dude. Plus, of course, when I come to Dubai, I'll hang out with you again.
For sure, man.
Because you flew in here, man, which is, by the way, I appreciate the hell out of
My
that.
pleasure.
Really, really sick.
It's an honor, brother.
Next time I'm coming there, then we'll have some cigars there.
I'll take you to the best spots, my friend.
Oh, let's
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah,
Let's
for sure.
go.
Man. For sure. I was telling my brother as well, because we used to binge watch you many years ago. I'm not ashamed to say, I was telling Chris that I used to be a bit of a fanboy.
Oh,
And
love
then
it.
slowly I got inspired by you, and I started my coaching business about 5 years ago. Scaled it, pretty well with Chris's help as well, building a team and watching your stories over the years. It was just pure gratitude, my friend, because yesterday as I was having dinner, sometimes, I don't know, maybe you can relate to this, but I was having dinner last night the story that you saw. Right before that story that I posted, some guy approached me and said, Shako, I recognize you. I really love your content. And after that interaction, I had a moment where I had to reflect, and I thought to myself, this is something that I should not take for granted. When you have a large following, people are inspired and you don't know in what direction they're going to go. And that's the impact that you've had on thousands and hundreds of thousands of young men, and now also very old men, apparently. So,
Dude.
In person, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you've done, all the way back from the dating world, encouraging guys to be natural and authentic and fearless, even to what you're promoting now, which is a freedom-based lifestyle. So big kudos to you.
Dude, thank you, man. Thanks for the nice words, man. Make me all blush up here, bro. It's exactly what you said. It's like we become easily obsessed with the numbers. You know, how many views, how many subs, how many followers, how many da-da-da. It's very much a numbers game when you're in the business. And then you have a face to it, like a guy at the airport or something. Hey, man, what's your stuff? I did this thing because of your video. And you're like, what? Oh, yeah, there's like humans behind it.
Exactly.
And just like you said, you sit down in a quiet moment, you're like, fuck, man, that's some real shit. And, you know, I think a lot of people shit on coaches and influencers But ultimately, you influence people for the positive if you do it right, like us, and you make the world a tiny little bit better of a place, and you get paid for it. It's like the best win-win you could ever get.
Yeah.
So
It's the best job ever.
it's the best fucking job ever. And then the layer on top of that is you can collaborate. You like, I can learn from you now. I can talk. It's so sick. Like, I always learn the most on these podcasts, and I wouldn't be able to talk to people like this, like you or like anyone I've had on, if I didn't have the brand myself, right? You kind of need to have something to show for yourself. So now it just keeps getting better and better and better. It's like the ultimate upward spiral. It's super sick. And now everybody knows everybody. You know Chris. Chris came here. Chris works with us. Chris
I know
works with you.
Ratmia knows you.
Yeah, it's such and that's just so crazy. Like, you think it's so easy to be inclined to say, oh yeah, there's so much competition out there, and then in reality it's like 200 guys around the whole world that are crushing it, and everybody knows everybody.
Exactly.
It's so weird. Everybody, it's like when I go to your Insta and it's like common connections, it's the same 200 guys. So I think there is a large number of competitors, but 99% of them suck.
Exactly.
They don't have a big impact. And then there's the top 1%, is like 200 guys. They all know each other. They all learn from each other. They're all pushing each other.
There's less competition.
Yeah.
At the top.
Exactly. And it's almost like, in the Austrian Alps, I grew up just snowboarding and skiing. That's all you do,
Of course.
And when you're skiing, when you're going riding with a cool crew, you get instantly better. It's like plus 20% style on top of that, just because you push each other.
Yep.
You're like, the guy in front of you, like he jumps, he does a double backflip, and you're like, what the fuck? Man, now I gotta do a fucking double backflip, and now the next guy gotta push even harder, and that's so cool with entrepreneurship, man. And I have to open the thingy too.
Have we started?
Yeah,
I
we've
guess we
started,
have.
haven't we? Yeah.
Nice.
We've started. Like, now we can start recording.
Nice.
Look, what did you bring me, man? What is that? Can I just rip it open?
Yeah,
There's
rip
like
it
a cool
open.
map on there, man.
My wife wrapped
Oh,
it.
dude, what is this? This is so sick. Oh my god, you got me an Angus Young bobblehead.
For your desk.
Dude, this is fucking sick, man. Where's the camera? Thank you, dude. I'm gonna put this on the back behind me in my office.
You're most welcome.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thank
Glad
you so
you like
much.
it, man.
Angus Young, man. Fuck yeah.
There you
know
go.
from AC/DC, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking main guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Fuck yeah. Vinyl figure, man. Fuck yeah.
There you go. Now he's going to be looking at you and judging you while you work, while you make content.
He's gonna judge me. He's like, you're not living the rock and roll lifestyle yet. You can make way more fucking money, you piece of shit. You wanna... It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. I saw AC/DC last year for the first time.
Yeah.
Brought my dad and brother as a surprise trip.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
That was really...
That's why I was stalking you, and when I was deciding what to get you, I was stalking you a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? He'll like this.
It's a really good one, man. So, dude, you're an extremely inspiring figure in your niche, and you really carved yourself out a really professional niche, both from the type of things that you talk about as well as the appearance that you have. You look like fucking Morpheus, right? You really put yourself into like a really sick sort of style.
Thank you.
How much of that was like premeditated? Like, I'm going to make a business, I'm going to wear turtlenecks and look really good. And how much of it was just kind of like, this crumbly noise is really bad, my apologies. And how much of it was like something that came with time?
Man, what I love most, first of all, thank you for the compliment. What I love most about my job, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is that I can be authentic. I can be myself. You can cuss on your podcast, you can cover yourself in tattoos and do whatever the hell you want and talk about AC/DC on a business, essentially a business podcast, because that's who you are, right? And that's authentic to you. For me, the moment I started a coaching business, and I was the personal brand, which is one of the powers of personal branding, obviously, I decided that I'm no longer going to adhere to a dress code at some company that I'm working at. This is my thing now. And if somebody's going to work with me, for example, they're going to resonate with me as a person. So this is how I like to dress. This isn't how I dress for work, for my content.
Shit.
I love dressing like this.
Love it.
Even while I'm working at home in my home office, I tend to dress up. Admittedly, the top is usually business, downstairs is usually boxer shorts.
Party at the bottom, business at the top.
With the Dubai weather especially, you got to cool off a little bit. But I would say something that's definitely helped me grow the personal brand as well has been just relentlessly being authentic in my expression, not only with how I dress and carry myself, but even in my videos. For example, we're talking a little bit about creating content before the podcast, right? When I record content, I don't script anything.
Sick.
I literally press record. I sit there for an hour. I change shirts a couple of times
Yeah.
to make it look different. Maybe change my position, but I just think there for like 20 seconds. I just derp out thinking of a question that a client asked me recently, and then I just answer it on the reel. And one of the most common compliments that I get on sales calls and from clients is, I really resonated with your content. You seem very authentic and grounded. And it's because I don't try. I mean, obviously, I'm not 100% authentic all the time. I don't think everybody is. I try to be. I aim for that. And that seems to be working.
What is it exactly that you're teaching your clients for folks that don't know you yet?
So I could be titled as an executive communication coach. At first, it evolved over the past 5 years. I've been doing this for 5 years. At first, it was more social dynamics and just communication, where I would talk a little bit about dating. I would talk a little bit about masculinity as well. But I realized that I was spreading myself very thin. Now, who I help specifically are mostly professionals, executives, CEOs, directors, and some business owners and entrepreneurs. And I help them develop what we call an executive presence and a grounded communication style. That way they can gain more respect at work, make more money, deepen their relationships, network effectively. And
So it's communication style in their content to the outside as well as with their staff.
content as in...
They're going to present something.
Sometimes I help clients who make content on social media. I help them with that. But mostly it's just how they hold themselves in any social interaction, especially in meetings, in corporate settings, things like this, and going out networking, meeting people in general as well.
Damn, okay, that is sick.
Yeah.
That's a sick audience too.
Yeah.
Buying power, executing, love action taking.
They're so easy to work with, man.
Yeah,
So
amen.
easy. Yeah,
Amen.
those premium clients, they're the easiest to work with. I've noticed that when I used to have very simple low offers, like low ticket offers, biggest headache. I had a $49, I think it was $48, $49 community on school. Man, I regretted it so much. I had people asking me why there wasn't one-to-one coaching involved. Like, dude, you're paying $48, bro.
$48, dude.
What do you expect? Unbelievable.
It's funny.
Whereas I have my premium clients paying me thousands and thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And they just text me once or twice a month saying, "Hey, Shako, can I get a feedback?"
Yeah.
This little thing. Like, yeah, sure.
And they're like super appreciative. They're like, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
They take action.
Yeah,
They take action with those 1% changes, and they actually get results.
Because their own time has been made so valuable that they understand that other people have. That's the thing, is like the less people pay, the less they understand the value of time. I've had a good friend of mine, King Keto, who I've had on the podcast too.
Oh, nice.
He's like, he used to have a $5 bicep Bible ebook. And he's like, he's never had this many like refund requests for fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And he's like, you had to deal with it all the time, just the worst. So we have low ticket offers too, and especially for a low ticket, we have 60-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. Well, especially no questions asked, because it's not even worth for us.
You don't want to deal with it.
You know, it's like if someone says, "Hey, I would like to refund the low ticket thing," we're like, press a button, done. If they do, however, sometimes they do get feedback. Hey, I want a refund because I thought it's this and I misunderstood or something like that. We do save it and then we look at it. I have this from Jeff Bezos, actually. He says he still sometimes, not all the time, but he still sometimes looks at refunds on Amazon just to find out if there's any feedback. And he said most of them are just unwarranted. It's just people who just want a refund. But some of them are really good feedback, and then he implements them.
Yeah, you got to take feedback.
Yeah.
It's a good way to grow.
Yeah, exactly. But ultimately, I agree with you, man. It's the more someone pays, the more they appreciate it. Now, how did you end up in Dubai? Where did you live before that? What's kind of like your background there?
Cool. So right before Dubai, I was in Thailand because
Sick.
I got married there with my wife.
Dude, when?
Yeah, it was about 5 months. No, about 7 months ago.
Dude, congrats.
Thank you so much.
Man, you
appreciate
should bring her here.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's the reason she's not here is the reason why we ended up in Dubai. It's because she's Russian, and visa restrictions are just very, very difficult. So
man.
we were weighing our options of where to go, and Dubai seemed to be a pretty attractive option. Not just for that reason, but also business-wise. I know Dubai is one of your favorite cities.
Yeah. To visit, yes. To stay,
Yeah.
maybe not.
I saw your video, but I also know your style. I know you like to trigger people, so I laughed it off. So we moved to Dubai for that, and also for business, and also just for the network, man.
Yeah, networks.
You know, you were saying the top 200 people that are killing it in any field in business, online businesses. Most of them happen to be in Dubai. I find.
Yeah.
Every time I go for a dinner,
Yeah.
or some kind of networking event, the people that I meet, they all know each other.
Yeah.
They're all super successful. The average net worth at any given dinner table usually that I go to is just wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's wild. And anyway, so we were in Thailand before that. Before that, we were just traveling around Southeast Asia because we met in Bali a year ago exactly. So after
Did you
that,
see my video about Bali as well?
no, I didn't. I might agree with it because I'm not a fan of Bali.
Oh, are you? I made a video. It's like Bali is for people who are broke.
It's
'Cause
pseudo luxury.
Yeah, it's full of influencers and stuff like that. But it's funny that you mentioned Dubai because both of them, it's not really me. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not what?
If it's not really me.
Yeah.
I've never
No,
been to Bali.
I can't imagine you.
But I'm sure it's still nice. You know what I mean?
You need to go skiing, bro.
Yeah.
Like you need your skiing fix. I can't imagine you living in Dubai
I do. Yeah, I do need that.
or Bali.
So you met your wife. She's Russian. You met her in Bali. And then you traveled through Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And then you said you got married in
Thailand.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, in Thailand.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beach wedding?
It was no. It was just a small ceremony with the family.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. The way that I met her, by the way, I don't usually share this, but it's relevant to you guys because of what I teach, first of all, and your background as well. I cold approached her.
Where?
In a cafe.
Oh, in a cafe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear the story.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Here it is, guys. The story is finally coming out. So I was wearing shorts, which I don't like, by the way. It's part of the reason I didn't like Bali. Okay. You have to wear shorts all the times and flip flops. Wearing shorts and flip flops. Wearing an ugly shirt. I was on my laptop doing the digital nomad lifestyle. She walks in, looking just fine, bro. Just looking fine. That's the only way I can put it.
Damn right.
Immediately, I'm like, oh god. I knew I have to talk to her.
Yeah.
There's no other way about it. Like it's an inevitability. Can't even talk when I think about it.
Love it. That's how I know she's a keeper.
Totally simping, bro. You know, simp all you want, brother. It works well.
She's your wife.
She's
if
your
you're
wife.
going to simp on someone, you can simp on your wife.
You order. There's nuances to simping.
There's levels.
100% there's levels. Like you have to be the man, you have to be the alpha, but at the same time you have to simp a little bit.
A little bit.
You have to balance it. So anyway, she walks in and she's sitting one table away from us. So there's two Indonesian guys sitting between us, and I think in my head, I decide. I say, if they get up, or when they get up, I'm gonna talk to her.
Wow.
I have my third coffee. They get up immediately. My heart just starts pounding. And by the way, I've done cold approach before. Like I'm pretty confident talking to strangers, talking to women. But my heart started pounding. And it could be the coffee, but it could be the fact that maybe it was her as well. I leaned over to her. I said, excuse me. She said, yes. And I said, do you like jazz?
Wow. Damn. That's a sick opener.
If you guys have seen B movie, that's a pickup line in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He goes,
That's
you like
funny.
jazz? I wasn't even thinking of that, though. I'm a big jazz fan. And I was planning on going to a jazz bar by myself later that evening. And her response was, jazz, no, are you a musician? I said, no, I'm not a musician. I'm just asking you if you like jazz because I'm thinking of going to this jazz bar later tonight and I was curious if you've been so you could tell me if it's any good or not. And she said, no, but I've never been to a jazz bar. Anyway, we got to talking and I asked if I could sit next to her. We ended up having a long conversation, about an hour and a half. Got really deep, went on an instant date.
Nice.
I took her to the jazz bar, which was closed. By that time, it was night. It was in a dark alley, no jazz bar. She was with a stranger in the middle of Bali. I had to think quick on my feet, so picked another place. And then, yeah, literally a few months later, we got married. About 8 months later, we got married.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You were talking, I want to add something. I think it was on the podcast with Cole Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how you used to hear Owen Cook talk about how when you improve your communication skills and your dating skills, it's all practice for the big game, and you don't know how it's going to pay off.
Mm.
It pays off in finding a dream woman, just like you have as well with your girlfriend of, I think it was 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
Yeah, amazing, man. Congratulations to that. That's
Thanks,
a
man.
big commitment. And also to the business that you grow. So I share that story with my clients only. This is the first time I'm sharing it publicly just for privacy's sake, but fuck it. I share it because it's an example of when you do those baby steps of improving your communication skills, approaching the old lady in the supermarket just to ask for directions, complimenting here and there. It all adds up to the point where one day you're going to meet the woman of your dreams. Or maybe you're going to network with somebody that you've been watching online for ages and you end up connecting. So it's all practice for the big game. So that's how we met.
It's the gateway drug for a lot of people. There's 2 gateway drugs I've found out so far. That's fitness and it's personal development, like talking to strangers. That's how you start. So for me, it was like when I came to Vienna here, we're in Vienna right now. When I came here as like a shy, completely socially awkward 20-year-old Max, fresh out of the army, studied musicology at first. Then I started studying Latin and English and added Greek. And you're in a big city. You're exposed to all these beautiful women sitting next to you in the metro, walking on the streets next to you in the university. And you just feel like an idiot because you don't know what to say. You don't know how to behave. You're just constantly nervous and confused and frustrated. And then you discover that you can learn this thing. You can become more charismatic. You can become more witty, more interesting. You can have conversations. You can work on your prefrontal cortex, like that trains you to do uncomfortable things and become more or less comfortable with the discomfort. And then you do that, and then all of a sudden you talk to a girl that is way out of your league. All of a sudden she likes you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get a number, you go on a date, she kisses you, and you're like, oh.
It works.
Yeah, it works. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute. So I can do things over time that I thought were never possible. And then it's like, okay, what if I make a business? I also don't think that's possible. I also don't think I'm good enough. But last time I wondered that, I proved myself that I can do it. So what if I make a business? You make a business, all of a sudden you get your first 2,000, your first 3,000. You're like, oh shit, I'm making money. Okay, can I make $1 million? That seems so unreal. But last time I thought something was unreal, I just put in the work and I did it. Maybe I can make $1 million. Make $1 million. Oh shit. Okay, I guess I made a fucking $1 million now. What if I make 5 million? Let's go. Let's do 10. Now you do 10 million, and you're like, oh, okay, holy shit! And then next thing you know, you realize like, okay, wait a minute, anything I put my mind to, I can fucking get there. And it all started with you being a young 20-year-old or however old you are, like, I just want to talk to pretty girls. I want to have a phone number, and it goes a long fucking way, man. It goes a long way.
It sure does.
And then you have these moments of gratitude where you're sitting down, you have a steak in a foreign city, and you're like, holy shit, wait a minute, like, what have I become? This is epic.
Yeah.
How far have I gone, It's pretty fucking amazing, man. Gateway drug. You get in through that.
Yeah.
And, and then you move to Dubai. You're the second guy with a Russian wife that moves to Dubai.
Typical.
Same guy. Oliver Anwar, shout out to him. Saying, I think it's his girlfriend, Russian girlfriend. He also moved to Dubai because she couldn't come to Europe. Pretty epic. So she's right now in Dubai.
Yep.
So you guys live together?
Yes.
Nice,
Yeah,
man.
we're married, so of course.
I mean, kind of logical, yeah. What does your day-to-day life look like?
At the moment, I'm very, very focused on just growing and expanding the business and helping clients as much as possible because I have a lot of clients in Dubai as well.
Sick.
But to be honest, man, like I like to have a very low-key lifestyle. I wake up, I go for a walk to the local cafe, I read my book, I journal a little bit, I have my meetings. Later, I might go out for dinner with my wife, and that's it. And once or twice a week, I go out with friends just to network and build those connections.
Sick.
But I like to keep it super low-key. I bought a PS5 recently.
My man.
Playing a bit of that lately.
What games?
Yeah, I was playing Ratchet and Clank, just easy
No
game to play.
shit.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Just finished Uncharted 4 for the fourth time.
So good.
Yeah, amazing, bro. Amazing.
So good.
I love Uncharted. Playing Battlefield a little bit as well. Yeah.
You know, Uncharted 4 was the first game that I got back into after like my longest hiatus. So I was a huge gamer. Then I got into the game, into like talking to girls. Then I built this whole business. I didn't have the time. So I skipped the entire PS3 generation. I had PS2 all day. Skipped entire PS3, was like multiple years in between. And then I created the Natural, and we were just in a place at home in Austria, just shooting nonstop. And I was like, I need something that I could do for like an hour a day after shooting, just to get my mind off. And I bought a PS4, and I heard Uncharted is great. It was the first game I played after many years, and it was such a jump graphically, storytelling wise.
Uncharted 4 is one of the best games to exist. It's literally one of the best games to exist. Action adventure. It's so
good.
Perfect, bro.
So good.
The story, the characters,
the graphics,
the gameplay.
The way it's built, it's like a movie that you're playing, with shit happening and twists.
You become invested.
Yeah. People are gonna be like, talk about business, you idiots. I don't want to hear fucking Uncharted, you nerds.
but on that note of doing what you want, and if you're an introvert, be an introvert, I'm a big believer in that. And that's something that I'm trying to push out there with my brand as well, with my message, which is, if you want to get better at communication, talking to women, social confidence, you don't need to be an extrovert, man. You can be low key, you can be chilled out, you can travel by yourself. Like, for example, this Vienna trip, I ended up booking it for 4 days, just so I can enjoy myself a little bit.
Nice.
Walk around. I was at the museum today by myself.
My man.
One of my favorite things to do. And you can do these things and practice being comfortable with yourself. You don't need to be loud, crazy, extroverted to develop social confidence and to have a cool lifestyle. Literally, with the business that I've built, I have a very low-key lifestyle. And that's what it is. I'm just in the phase of building as much as possible at the moment, preparing.
So you consider yourself an introvert?
Yeah.
Full on?
Definitely.
Me too.
Yeah. I have to be careful, man.
Yeah?
People won't believe it when they hear it from us, because what they see is us having learned how to switch it on. You can learn how to switch on state. You have that. But after 1 or 2 social events, you probably need to shut off.
100%.
Yeah.
Be by myself.
Exactly.
Don't even talk. Just somewhere alone.
Literally, that's me. That's why
it's so funny.
1 or 2 social events every week, max. And I'll probably leave one of them early as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm always the guy who bounces. Anyways, guys, I'm going to bed. Good night. Exactly. It's funny, man. Yeah, people misconstrue charisma with extrovertism. They think you have to be extroverted to be charismatic. The only thing is, like, the definition of an extrovert is someone who recovers energy by being with other people. An introvert is someone who recovers energy by being themselves. I expend energy when I'm hanging out with people. It's not a bad thing. I love it. It's like me giving, good vibes, fun.
Yep.
But then I'm like, all right, now I need a day or 2 alone by myself, not talk to anyone. That's what I need to recover. A good friend of mine, business partner, Kevin, he's the complete opposite. He dies when he's alone at home. He needs to go talk to people. He's an ultra social human being. And he can't be productive either when he's by himself. For me, it's the other way around. If I have to do hardcore work, I cannot speak to even if there's someone in the other room, freaks me out. I need to be completely by myself, and ideally blast some sort of noise canceling headphones or drum and bass over it, so I don't have a single distraction. Then I'm super locked in. And then when someone does talk to me, like my girlfriend comes to me, it's the funniest thing. I'm trying to work. Maybe you can tell the same, but when you live with a woman and you're trying to fucking work, and then you're super locked in, and she opens the door to show you like a cat video, and I'm like, get out.
It just triggers you.
And she's like, but look, the kitty cat, she's behaving like a human. I'm like, I'm working. I'm at the office right now, okay? Real quick, just the kitty cat. Sometimes I'm asking if it's urgent, you know? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, shit, what is it? Look at the kitty cat. I'm like, that's not urgent, goddamn. So yeah, we have this rule now that when the door is closed, it's like I'm in a different building.
We have the exact same rule.
Yeah, I love it.
We have the exact same rule. She respects the work time. She definitely respects that. But let me ask you something, Max. You used to do a lot of events, obviously, and now your business is it completely online, or do you do... Yeah, it's completely online.
99%.
Do you much prefer that over the... It has
advantages, disadvantages. So I toured the world 4 times between 2013, 14-ish and 17, 18-ish. And that was overkill like crazy. I told Tom earlier, it's like 45 cities per year.
Wow.
So that's like almost every week a new city. So that kills you. That is literally like close to death. So that's overkill. But then I did only online, and you also start kind of missing the traveling. It's a hate-love relationship. And what I did last year is I went on a podcast tour for like a month. So it was like a handful of cities within a month, like 4 or 5 days per
Podcast
city.
tour.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's super sick. So I didn't do live events, because live events themselves, when you add an event to that where you have to speak in front of people, you have to organize, you have staff that is there with you, that's a little bit more complicated. But the way I did it now is just travel with a suitcase, mics, lights, cameras, tripods. You schedule people in each city. You touch down, you knock out 1 or 2 podcasts like this, then you go grab steak, you go to bed. In the morning, you get a little bit of work done, manage the team, have another 1 or 2 podcasts, grab some food. Yeah,
what a
sick.
lifestyle, man.
Right?
What a cool fucking lifestyle.
Right.
I was telling Chris, he was like, it's really cool for you to come to Vienna. I said, well, a couple of things. First of all, I'd be honored to meet Max as well. And I didn't realize he was close to you. So that's our team member, by the way, for everybody listening. But secondly, any excuse to travel, because because if I'm working online at my desk every single day, I do want that opportunity to travel and get out of the country as well. I really enjoy it. I really love traveling. It's probably my favorite thing about running my own online business. It's just the freedom of location, location freedom.
Just being able to be like, fuck it, I want to go to XYZ. Fuck it. Go there.
Whatever you're going to do, wherever you want to go.
So sick.
Yeah.
And you have it's like you bring because you open your laptop and it's still the same.
It's still the same.
The layout of the apps is all still there, right? So you can do this in the lounge of the airport, in the hotel, anywhere.
Exactly.
That really is the best. The spontaneity of like, oh shit, Hans Zimmer is playing in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Let's go fly to fucking Amsterdam. Like, I got nothing. What is today? Tuesday? Let's go fly.
Exactly.
Best shit ever.
Exactly. I remember watching your stories. I'm sure it was in Austria. It was by a lake surrounded by mountains, and you'd be in a little cabin with your laptop there, and you're doing the exact same thing. I remember watching that years ago. I'm thinking, I'm going to do that one.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to freaking do that.
Especially now, because I remember a time where I couldn't do that in the cabin in Austria because the internet used to suck. You couldn't even, like, 5G, like, there was no hotspot, nothing. So you were kind of cut off. But, like, last 5 years, you'd be anywhere, man. Have some fucking beach, the fucking desert. You still have sick internet. That really changes it. Because you were restricted to cities. And now all of a sudden, you can be in the countryside in a, like you said, in like a little cabin and just crush it.
And you're talking about the old days, like caveman vibes.
Not even like I'm talking about. Okay, Austria was so far behind with internet, dude. Bro, it was like 2016, and the internet in my house was too slow to have live streams. You couldn't do a video call. You couldn't do Skype or fucking Zoom. Yeah, that was 2016, and my friend, dude, funny story. My friend, a cop. All right, I'm not going to tell you the name, but he was like massively corrupt. He's like, he was, dude, so funny. So he's the best friend of my brother, a good friend of my brother. Then he became kind of like, he started watching my stuff and he thought it was fun. And then, and he knew where we live, right? So we were there working on the natural, and he shows up in the cop car, in the cop uniform, and just comes in. He's like, "What's up, guys?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm working." Right? It's like, sits down and just talks for 3 hours, hangs out with us in his uniform. I'm like, "Aren't you like on patrol or some shit?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry." In the village cop, 5,000 people, nothing. There's no crime. What the fuck is he gonna do? You know? And he's like, "Guys need anything? Drugs? Anything?" I'm like, "What the fuck is you saying? Anything? Just tell him. Just call me. I'll get it to you."
Whatever you need.
Funny guy. And he brought us an internet. He had this like little internet USB stick thingy, and that one was a fast internet, and that allowed us to actually get work done. But yeah, super funny. So, but one thing we're getting so sidetracked. One thing I wanted to ask you is like, what is like the main issues that clients in like executive levels have with their communication?
The main challenge is they overthink. They don't get the kind of respect that they deserve. They lack assertiveness. There's a lot of people pleasing that takes place as well. Yeah, they don't know how to set boundaries because they believe that assertiveness is equivalent to aggression. That's why most people have nice guy syndrome, by the way. If somebody is constantly people pleasing, constantly saying yes, avoiding conflict as much as possible. It's because they believe that the moment they say, no, actually, I'm not interested in that, or Max, I think that's a bad idea. If they say that, they feel like they're being aggressive. They feel like that they're creating conflict. When in reality, people who are of high status, people who are in those positions of power and authority, they actually appreciate that more than the people who are people-pleasing. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is people-pleasing. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is sucking up to not only high-status people, entrepreneurs and whatnot, but CEOs, executives, board members in corporate settings. I remember I was at a business event once, and do you know William Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
Sick. Dude.
Yeah, very good friend of mine. Man. Yeah, he had a mastermind event that I attended, an advanced mastermind, and somebody who I met at that event approached me during lunch, and he said, "Have you spoken to Will?" And I said, "Yeah, I've spoken to Will." And he said, "Okay." I said, "Why? Have you?" And he goes, "Yeah, but I don't want to bother him, and you know, maybe he doesn't want to talk to us." I said, "Bro, you're acting like, why are you putting him on a pedestal? Like, you're acting like he's a freaking superhero or something. Like, he's a cool guy. I love him to death. He's a good friend of mine. But talk to him like a human being." The way that we became mates when I moved to Dubai very quickly was because when we hung out, I just treated him like a human being as well. And sometimes I would disagree with him. I'd say, "Well, you know what? I actually disagree with that. I think that's wrong. Here's what I think." And when you do that, when you aren't afraid to share your opinions and voice what's in your head, what's in your heart, people appreciate it. And then you're actually being authentic. They see the real you. When you're being a yes man, you're not actually being authentic. You're just saying yes because you believe that's going to get the other person to like you more. When in reality, it just makes you forgettable. I think most people are forgettable.
Ultimately, it's almost a sign of disrespect, because it's like, you're showing that you think you can trick me with your fake fucking niceness. It's like, how stupid do you think am I?
Very interesting.
Right? If you really think about it, it's like, it's a sign of disrespect.
It's a form of manipulation.
It's a form of manipulation. How dare you fucking manipulate me, right? And plus, you're of course showing that you perceive yourself as lower value, and the only way to be on par with the other person's value is by being a fucking yes-sayer. And it's beautiful, because it's exactly... that's not only what I'm assuming most people in leadership positions are struggling with, but it's also the best way to get through to these kind of people, because they're surrounded equally by only fucking yes-sayers, because they're the boss. And then they got a guy like you who's like, "This is wrong. Don't fucking do this." They're like, "How dare you talk to me like this, but tell me more."
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, "Holy shit, like, I need this. I need that person in my life." So when you think that a lot of them is that they're being too soft, do you think that is an issue of the social dynamics of recent times, woke culture, toxic masculinity, or do you think is that a problem that has existed beforehand already?
Woke culture doesn't come up much. However, a lack of authentic, grounded masculinity is definitely the case. That is one subject that we talk about in the actual program itself. And I love talking about it as well, because real masculinity, what is it? It's strength. It's direct. It's efficient. It is sometimes stubborn. You need to be a bit stubborn. I bet as a business owner, you have a level of stubbornness that makes things efficient. It allows things to flow well. So it's slightly stubborn and rigid, you could say, probably a better word. And it's forward-thinking, directive, and very penetrative as well. Most men lack that penetrative energy, which is kind of funny because it correlates with our sexual organs as well.
Yeah.
Feminine energy is very receiving, just like their sexual organ. Men need to be more direct and unapologetically so as well. What is that? That's masculinity. That's why I have a separate group and program for my male clients and female clients.
Ah, no shit.
I can't tell them the same thing, man. The advice that I give to my male clients, if I gave that to female clients, it wouldn't work as well, and vice versa, especially.
So how can females be effective leaders while still embracing their femininity and not just, act like a dude, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off
All right,
by
let's hear
saying
it.
this. I think, generally speaking, most women aren't going to be happy in leadership positions. I think most women are too stubborn to admit that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think most women actually prefer to be in a position where they're not the ones leading, making decisions, and having that burden of responsibility on themselves. In fact, you see it as well. You see it with women who are in their 40s and 50s. At that point, they look stressed. Very rarely, it's not impossible, but very rarely do you meet a woman in her even 30s, 40s, and 50s who's a boss babe or a corporate queen, whatever you want to call it, and she's killing it and she's glowing. Very rarely do you see that. But with men, you do see it. They are glowing. You have the silver fox. You have the man who's a gentleman. Men age like wine. Women age in a different way. It's in a beautiful way. My wife, for example, I'll use her as an example because I can't speak for women, obviously. But my wife, the moment I started making good money, I told her, I'm like, quit your job. What are you doing working for another man, having another boss? And now she's at home. She focuses on painting, learning the piano, cooking for me steak twice a day, and then dinner. Whatever I want. The only time she disturbs me in the office is telling me lunch is ready. And let me tell you something, brother. She loves it. She loves being in her feminine energy, the man taking care of business, and her doing whatever she wants. I'm not saying women shouldn't work in general, but to answer your question of leadership, if a woman is truly going to pursue that path of leadership, again, if you're watching and you really want to, fair enough. I know a lot of my followers are women in corporate. If you're going to do it, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to sacrifice a lot of feminine energy. Because corporate leadership, in fact, leadership in general, is a masculine energy to be in. So if you're going to be a manager or a CEO or a director in a company and you're a woman, that means you're going to be compromising a lot of that feminine energy. And the things that you learn are going to be along the same lines of what I would tell men, except I encourage them to retain that feminine essence. And that comes through softness. And it comes through a very, very harsh cutoff line the moment they clock off from work. At 6 o'clock, when they go home, if they carry that leadership energy, that masculine energy they have in work that works for them into their home, when they talk to their husbands or their children, they're going to be wearing the pants at home. And that creates a miserable lifestyle. And the men that I've seen who are married to these women, a lot of them are effeminate.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of them are very submissive as well. So you have to pick and choose what you want.
The problem I see a lot with this is the idea of feminism. I grew up in a very feminist household. My mom's the strongest woman ever. She's such a role model, even for me as a man. She's still a great role model for me. She's extremely hardworking. She brought us up almost completely by herself. My dad was still around, but most of the education and upbringing came from her. So she's like the strongest woman I've ever seen in my whole life.
Love it.
But the problem, so I'm very pro feminism in this regard. But the problem is, it's become so toxic and aggressive that a lot of times it confuses women, it confuses men alike, in terms of like, hey, woman, you want to be alone at home and cook for your husband and take care of your kids? Why would you want to do that?
They shame them.
Yeah, that's not valuable. Go out there. Go make that bread. Be a boss, babe. So they devalue women that generally wants to be at home and have a husband and kids. They devalue that.
Yep.
Which in and of itself is disrespectful to women. It's
Absolutely.
anti-feminism. It's the most anti-feministic thing to fucking do. Because number one, it devalues the housework, which is arguably tough as shit. Like running a household, taking care of a house or an apartment and kids and pets and your husband and cooking. That's like a full-time fucking job plus hours
Max,
extra.
sorry to interrupt, but
Go for it.
Name a more important job than being a mother.
Exactly. You're literally bringing up the kids of our future. But feminism has become so toxic, so power hungry, that it's like, unless you're your own boss and you're married to a little bitch cunty husband, unless you do that, you're not a strong woman. So, and the realization, the moment that made me realize that was a good friend of mine. She's extremely smart, speaks 8 languages fluently, has 4 degrees. And we hung out one day, we were meeting for coffee here in Vienna, and I'm asking her how she's doing, and she starts crying. And she says, I can't handle the pressure. I feel that over the years, I've gone from feeling empowered to feeling pressured. Unless I make this much money, unless I have this many degrees, I'm not fucking worthy. You know what's weird? I want to have fucking kids with my husband and stay at home, but I feel like I'm being pushed by commercials, by talk shows, by the movies, by the mainstream narrative into this category of like, I need to be a boss babe. And it feels so anti-me. And I feel like not every woman, but a lot of women probably feel the same. And that sucks because it's totally fine to stay at home. Oh, if you're a guy and you want to take care of your kids and be at home, that's cool too. Whatever fucking floats your boat. But statistically speaking, you're most likely going to be a woman if you're amongst the people that wants to stay at home and take care of the kids because it's in our genes, and that's totally fucking fine.
Yeah.
Want to say that too.
Nah, well said. I agree with everything you just said, and I love what you said about your mother. It makes me respect you even more now. I feel the exact same way about my mother. She was a housewife for her entire life. She raised 4 boys.
Wow.
Shout out, Mom. I love you.
Shout out to the moms out there.
Yeah, to all the moms. She was a housewife full-time, raising 4 boys. And she is one of the most charming, intelligent, confident women that I've ever seen. When I see women, sometimes at networking events in Dubai, for example, they might look feminine on the outside, but then you talk to them for a second or two, and you realize that there's like a rigidity. There's like them trying to prove themselves. Like there's an energy where they think they have to compete with men.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of women do these days in the dating scene. They compete with men. One of the first things my wife told me on our first date, because I asked her about her values in a relationship, I was upfront from the very beginning. She said, I don't want to compete with my man. Green flag.
I love it.
Amazing. I don't want somebody arguing with me. I'm dealing with problems every day. You think I'm going to deal with more problems talking to you?
True. Very good one. Very good point. So, apart from men being too soft in leadership position, what other things? Because you started talking about it and then we got sidetracked. What are some other more pressing issues that we're facing?
Some more pressing issues?
Yeah.
A lot of them want to become more confident in the way that they present public speaking. But a very, very common subject that we talk about on our weekly mastermind calls is actually presence and self-belief. So you could say presence and confidence, being present to the moment. The first module that we have, it's called Presence and Energy. And of course, reading The Power of Now and all that, back in the days, you're exposed to this world of spirituality and mindfulness where you realize that when you're present to the moment, it's actually a superpower.
Yeah.
You don't need to prepare for a podcast. You don't need to prepare for a good conversation. What is a good conversation? It's spontaneous. It's natural. It comes out naturally, and there's a flow that comes about. And that happens when you're deeply present.
Yeah.
So that's something that we talk about a lot. The pressing issue at hand is actually the overthinking. Most people are in their heads worried about what the other person is going to think about me. I say to my clients, switch it up. Ask yourself, am I going to like this person? How am I going to feel in this person's presence? And that was me as well, like 6 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago. If I met you, for example, I'd be wondering, does he like me? Does he like me? Whereas now I'm just like, let's vibe. We're here. Let's talk. Like, is it cool? If he's cool, it's gonna be cool. If he's not cool, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? You're not attached anymore. Something that has been a huge lesson has been removing attachment from any social interaction. This is what we talk about, because if you're overthinking, that means you're attached to the outcome, right? And if you're attached to the outcome, you're putting pressure on the other person. You're putting an agenda on the interaction. And so the person is going to feel at some level, there's a bit of weird pressure here or a bit of a weird energy. They might not even know why they feel that way, but it's because you're overthinking, trying to prove yourself, trying to control the whole interaction. And what's the opposite of that? It's being present. It's being calm. I'm talking very fast now because I'm on the podcast getting a bit of excited, but usually I talk pretty slowly. I encourage my clients to speak slowly as well, to pause before responding. That way you can create space between your thoughts, live in that space, be in that space. So when you do communicate, it is authentic. You don't need canned lines. You don't need to put on an act. And the people that resonate with that present, authentic version of you, they're the ones that are going to be real friends anyway. It'll make you charismatic as well. I find when you stop overthinking and you're just deeply present, you automatically start attracting people wherever you go.
Plus, it's the only real way to do it long term. You can only keep up a facade for so long, and it drains you emotionally, energetically. I've noticed this too, because you said this earlier. The first thing we mentioned is like, I just wanted to be fucking authentic with my brand. Because if I wasn't authentic, I'd be sitting here on the podcast with you, and I'd be like, I want to be, I can't swear. Now I'm stifling myself. Now I'm interrupting the flow of energy.
Yep.
And it fucks with me. And that sucks. And I constantly have to think, like, how do I rephrase the thing I want to say so I sound professional and nice?
Yep.
And I think maybe on a subconscious level, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to give myself too much credit than necessary. Maybe that on a subconscious level, that was the reason why I got tattoos on places that you can't cover. Because I'm like,
You can't hide.
yeah, I want to be able to not be able to hide. I want to be able to say, well, that train left a while ago. Might as well just be fucking myself. And it's funny because you get both. I've had people join my program and then leave because I was swearing. They're like, join the Zoom call. This Max guy, who the fuck is this swearing? I'm out. But I've had people come to me say, you know what? I had the opportunity to go to you or a competitor of yours, and you were just this like down-to-earth guy. You were swearing. You didn't care. I resonate well with that, and that's why I bought from you. The same with the tattoos. I'm sure there's people who see my videos like, oh, this guy has hand tattoos. He can't be legit. I'm not going to buy from you. Okay, cool. I've conversely had people that literally say, I bought from you because you have tattoos. Literally. So which one is better then? Well, it's the one that costs me less energy to uphold. It costs me close to zero energy to be who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a filter up. Like you said, I don't need to have an agenda. Oh, does Shako like me? Am I as professional as... No, I'm just fucking me. Right? Take it or leave it kind of attitude. And that way I can also then go to bed at the end of the day and say, I crushed it today. I was myself.
That's right.
I used to have that even on my field reports. Do you remember field reports?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
When I would go home after like a night out with practicing my social skills, I would come home and I would literally have as like a category that I needed to fill out is like, was I congruent? Was I myself today? Because I struggled with that. I struggled the first 2-3 years. I struggled with putting up this fake persona. And then funny enough, it didn't. This is the key. If I put up a fake persona, even if people liked me, I would come home, look myself in the mirror and feel fucking miserable. I would feel miserable. I'm like, What was I doing? Fuck, I was so fake, so cringe. The cringe would keep me awake for hours. The fuck until the cringe evened out. But then on days where I would just be, I was so congruent, I was so myself, even if whatever, none of the girls liked me, I didn't get a phone number, I would come home, I'm like, oh, today was a fucking good day.
It's being myself.
Yeah, despite all the pressures and all the temptations of faking shit, I did not fall for them, and I just congruently went through that. And I think that's an important lesson for many young folks to learn nowadays, especially with social media and shit like that, of like, dude or girl, like just like, even if you do fake something, it's going to cost you way more energy. And the only thing that's worse than not being liked for who you are is being liked for who you are not. Because now you're stuck in a prison where you continuously have to feed that fake persona. And every time you would try to cut back on that fake persona, you would get negative feedback. So you're like, okay, well, no, I have to double down on that. So I imagine how tough it is if you're any sort of influencer, fitness model that is based on fake, on lies, on claiming that you're natural, but
I bet there's a lot of that as well.
Say it again.
I bet there's a lot of that as well, the fake influencers.
And that fucks with you. And like all the money you're making probably just feeds your paranoia, because now you're like, oh, what if they want to find out? What if they find out? And I've seen people, it's already hard. This is really weird now. Almost not many people can resonate with. It's already hard to make a ton of money, because it does feel kind of strange when you make a lot. Like when I'm talking about like 300, 500K plus a month, you kind of get paranoid, because you're like, this is really good. This is too good to be true. What's going on? Also, because at that level, you do less of the grinding yourself, because usually you have staff that do a lot. You have automations in place, so you're working less hours. The work that you have has more gravity, because you need to make more high level decisions. But you're like, I'm working like 2 hours, 3 hours a day, where I just make high level decisions, and I'm making all this money. This is fucking weird. Because so far, all I knew was you grind and then you make a lot of money. So a lot of work equals a lot of money. Now it's like less work equals a lot of money. It's fucking weird. So it's already tough enough to make a lot of money. But imagine you'd make a lot of money because you fake shit. Because, you know, what was that guy called with the 10 cavemen commandments? The Liver King. Liver King,
Yeah.
right? I don't know him personally, but imagine you know... You're putting steroids in your body every day, or however the cycle works, I don't know. And then into the camera, you're like, I'm all natural. Imagine how that fucks with you. And now you're making millions, and you're like, how long can I keep this facade up?
Yeah.
How long until some guy finds out? So you can't even enjoy the fucking money that you're making either.
You don't get away with anything.
Exactly.
Nothing goes unnoticed by God, by the universe. Nothing goes unnoticed. You pay for everything. Everything has a consequence. I'm a big believer in the law of karma. I think it's a universal law as well. It's going to play on your subconscious. Your conscience is the one that's being compromised.
Yeah.
It's a lack of integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love what you said, and it actually made me, I want to go back a little bit to the authenticity bit. I wanted to ask you something. When I met you today for the first time, unsurprisingly, you're exactly how I expected you to be. You're exactly the same guy that I see online.
That's good. You too, by the way.
I appreciate that. And I'm not surprised, because I can tell in your content. I'm like, this guy's just being real. Like, he's just being real. Sometimes you troll with the videos. Like,
Yeah.
hating on Dubai. Still not forgiving you for that. But still, you are who you are. And that tells me, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to hear your experience about this, is you've done a lot of inner work to get to the point where you can be congruent in your personal life, in the way you hold yourself, but also in your business. How has the inner work affected your success?
It's... like I said, like I knew at some point, because there was a period of my life, it was early RSD days, where I was just starting to make content, even as an unpaid assistant still. For folks without context, RSD was the first company I collaborated with for my first dating coaching business. That was like, I started with them in 2013, I think. So there was, I think, 6 months-ish where I just copied Julian and Tyler. Because... And then there's a natural process to it, because these are the guys that I looked up to. So my style was first heavily influenced by theirs. It's like when you play guitar, you're probably going to play Metallica first if you like Metallica. And I was like, the demeanor was talk like Julian, the movements, the words I'm using. And then I realized I was starting to dread shooting videos. And after the videos, I would feel cringe. Like I said, the cringe would return. And I didn't realize why that was. I'm like, why would I feel bad, talk about something I'm passionate about into the camera? And then it made click. I realized it's because I'm putting up this persona. And then I just looked logically at it and I said, well, if this works out and I really become someone that can live off dating coaching, I'm going to make a lot more videos for many years to come. Can I afford being burnt out and cringed out every time I make a fucking video? That sounds like hell on earth. So let me find a way to just be fucking congruent. So that was the first stage, was understanding and putting awareness into it. And then the second stage was I would kind of observe myself in front of the camera. What was my fear trying to make me do? Because I feared that maybe I'm not good enough if people see through me, because I'm just some fucking assistant chode. Who am I to tell people about how to talk to girls, right? Who the fuck am I? So I was afraid. What if they see my real self? So through that fear, I had physiological responses of like, I would tense up in the shoulder. My breathing would get much more shallow.
Wow.
And then I realized, and then my voice would be like, hey, you're watching Max. And I'm like, okay. So my physiology is trying to push me into this. How about I'm going to change my physiology? So I got in front of the camera and I did these exercises. Actually, I got them from Elliot Hulse. These like grounding exercises.
Bioenergetics.
Breathing into your balls, as he called it. So I would stand in front of the camera, set everything up, even already press play because I didn't want to be interrupted. And then I would just breathe into my balls, get my shoulders. And I'm like, okay, I'm not speaking into a camera. I'm speaking through the camera to a person. I imagined like my best buddy back then, Andre or Kevin, standing behind the camera just looking through the lens. So instead of being like, hey, what's up? I'd be like, hey, I want to talk to you about the idea of being in state. And now all of a sudden I listen to myself. I'm like, holy shit, I have the exact tonality that I would have as if I talked to a friend. And then I'm like, I don't feel pressure. I don't feel anxiety. Most importantly, I don't feel the cringe after I'm done. I'm just feeling really fucking good. And coincidentally, that was then the moment when people started DMing me saying, dude, I can resonate with your stuff. It's like I know you. And then I got positively reinforced about who I am in real. Because people literally said, I liked the last video. You were so natural. So I got confirmed that I am good enough. Weirdly enough, because I didn't act like I was perfect. I was open and upfront with my shortcomings. I would then even make videos about rejections. Because I thought I'm a dating coach. Nobody can know that I get rejected, right? Everybody should know that I'm perfect because then I have more authority. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite of that because I got scared that someone would film me with an iPhone while I'm talking to someone and then I would get rejected. And then they're like, Max, exposed. He's getting rejected. So I'm like, let me get ahead of them and film myself getting rejected. Because I had a lot of footage of me getting rejected.
Put yourself out there even more.
Exactly. I had rejection compilations. I put them out there and I'm like, look, I'm getting rejected, but here's my lesson. And then I even had clips where I got rejected back to back, 5, 6, 7 times. 8th girl I talked to, she gives me a number. We kiss on the street 3 minutes in. And that was after I just gotten rejected 8 times. And there's a funny clip. Okay, quick shout out. Sorry, the question is so good. I have to ramble on it. So some people can still remember that. It was in my live seminar. We showed this clip of me. It was in LA at the beach. There was this like pier thingy where there was like some surf open. So there's a lot of people, and I'm just running around talking to girls. And I was talking to this group of like 2-3 guys and like a cute girl. And I opened the girl, and the guys were these like surfer boys, like jacked, way taller than me, and I'm just this dorky, shitty Austrian. And they like physically pushed me away. Like, get the fuck out, right? Like, which they have the right. I was hitting on the girl in their group, and I'm just like, as a defense mechanism, like, oh, I'm gay, haha, right? And like, get the fuck out, and like literally like kicking me, and it's all on video, right? Super old video. Sorry, you cannot see this public anymore. And I'm like running away. I'm like, oh shit. And then I literally, as I walk away, I see this cute girl, and we lock eye contact for half a second, and I was so in state. I just straight up, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And we talk, and I see she does the triangle look. Okay, the triangle look, you probably know this as well. We used to teach that, is like when you talk to someone and they go from left eye to right eye to mouth, to left eye to right eye to mouth. It paints a triangle. Yeah. So she does that all the time. And I see it, I'm like, oh, did she just do the triangle look? Okay, let me just keep conversing. If she does it one more time, I know she's into me. She does it again after 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, there's a triangle look. Let me do physical calibration. So I touch her shoulder, and what you do with this, you wait for either a yes response, meaning she reciprocates, she touches you back, or a neutral response, which means she just lets it happen, or a no response, they flinch, they turn away, or anything. So when you do a quote-unquote innocent touching someone on the shoulder, they flinch away, you would never do anything physical for a while, because that obviously they're not comfortable with that. A neutral response, it's just neutral, just keep conversing. But a positive response, meaning they reciprocated, I'm like, okay, that in combination with the triangle 2 times, I'm like, I think this girl really likes me, even though I just started talking to her after 2 minutes. And I told myself, as I'm chatting on the surface level, where are you from? I'm like, if she does it one more time, I'm going to try to kiss her. And this is really key because it would not be like, lean in and kiss her. I would be like, lean in and see the reaction.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Micro calibration. And she does it again. I'm like, okay, cool. So I take a step closer and she takes a step closer and we kiss. And it was such a great moment after getting rejected 7, 8 times, getting rejected really harshly by these guys, and all of a sudden kissing this beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And as I do that, you see on the clip, one of these surfer guys comes up in the background and he's like walking through the screen and he sees me kissing this girl, and you could see his jaw drop to the floor, like, what the fuck? And he walks up, and my microphone picked it up. He walks up as I'm embracing with the girl, and he's like, I thought you were gay. It was such a good clip. It was such a good clip. And
Oh, that is hilarious.
and what that did to me is it positively reinforces you. Like, you can be yourself.
To act gay.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
That's the secret.
It positively reinforces that, and it's totally fine. And when other people see that, they're like, wait a minute, I got rejected just as badly as Max in this clip, and then I fucking went home, and I was sad about myself, but Max just keep fucking going, and he's crushing it. So putting things like this out there, and being open about it, and because I could have cut everything else out,
Yeah.
and just, here's me making out with a girl, I'm the shit, go buy my shit.
No, it was real. It was
Exactly.
authentic. Everything out there.
I'm like, keep the authenticity because it will inspire people that are in similar situations. And then it had this like snowball effect. Like, the more I showed myself being vulnerable, and the more I talked and embraced my imperfections, the better it started becoming.
Yeah.
People started resonating with me more. People would make posts about me on the forum, like, I like Max the most because he's so down to earth. And then I got positively reinforced for the right things. And then I'm like, I'm never gonna stop this authenticity thing.
You've peeked behind the curtain.
Yeah.
There's no going back, brother.
Yeah.
And it's been so inspiring watching your journey from those days till now as well. What a
It's been a while.
story.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for asking this. Because also here, right, I could be like, do I want to tell that story? What if someone watches this and be like, it's disgusting that you kissed someone you just met?
You said you were gay.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know what? If you don't resonate with that, I get it.
You don't
You
resonate.
probably would have never bought it anyways. And if you had bought my program and you see me say fuck once in a live call, the latest then you would realize, right? So it's better for you to realize right away who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
And if you vibe with it, if you fuck with it, welcome. I'm gonna make you a ton of money. If not, cool too. Go buy somewhere else. I don't mind.
That's it.
Right? And that's like you embody that in your brand so much. And hey, I keep saying this is for young men especially so fucking important. Everybody talks about women being bombarded with false ideals of beauty. I don't see a lot of people talk about men being bombarded with false ideas of beauty. You need to be jacked, you need to be tall. Because for men, here's the crazy thing. We men are not only being told you need to be jacked and tall, but also that you need to make a lot of money, that you need to be super confident, you can't simp. Like, all these fucking things, like, we need to be way more than a woman. And a woman, quote unquote, just needs to be pretty. Just go to the gym, cut out the carbs, do the best that you can. But on top of that, it's not enough for men. You need to be charismatic, on top of that, smart, educated, make a lot of money. And as men, it's important for us to embrace that we're on a continuous journey of servitude and self-improvement, because there's only one woman in your life that is going to love you no matter what, and that's your mom. The rest, you got to fucking earn. And that's totally fucking fine. But that's especially why it's so important for folks to have mentors like you that fucking teach them to embrace their masculinity, embrace who you are, and do the right things. And you have a lot of female followers as well, because guess what? Females will resonate with that too. Finally, a guy who speaks as it fucking is. And that's why I think it's so important what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Didn't want to interrupt you, man.
No, I appreciate that. And it's true. What you were saying about standards for men going up. I've been seeing reels lately. I've been sending it to my wife because of how ridiculous it is. Men are getting lip fillers these days.
Really?
Men are getting men are getting lip fillers and they're doing their eyebrows. Look, If you have hairy eyebrows, you need to get rid of your monobrow. Fair enough. But making it look more pretty than a girl's eyebrow, getting
What
lip fillers,
the
like
fuck?
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that's not
Where is masculinity gone?
Yeah.
You should be presentable. You should care about how you dress to an extent. But if you become vain, where you're spending more time in front of the mirror than your girlfriend or your wife, then everything's just out of balance completely. And I think when people say, especially when men say that they don't have a good dating life, or they haven't found the right woman because either they're too short or because they're not attractive enough, that is one of the most pathetic excuses that I could possibly hear. And I've said that on my Instagram, and people say, Shako, you need to be more kind to these people. They have insecurities. It's like, brother, I am not going to pat you on the back and tell you it's okay that you feel like you're not good enough because you're too short. You can't control that. Snap out of it. You're just addicted to being a victim. You know you can't control it. I mean, you can wear high heels if you want, or those boots, whatever the fuck you want to do. But if you can't control something, why would you focus on it at all? Such a waste of time. And it's a lack of personal responsibility as well.
And it's, again, a form of disrespect. When you're telling someone, you know what, it's fucking fine, you're fat and disgusting and you're not making a lot of money and you're doing nothing with your potential, you're doing that person a fucking disservice. What are they going to get with your little pat on the shoulder, your pity pat on the shoulder? They're not going to be able to pay their fucking bills from your pity pat.
Exactly.
They're not going to be able to date their dream woman from your pity pat. It's a fucking, you know what it is? It's a virtue signaling, self-inflating bullshit that actually hurts the person that you're being fucking nice to.
Yeah.
I love David Goggins. You know David Goggins. Everybody knows David Goggins. He says, imagine you meet your aunt or your cousin after 5 years you haven't seen them and they got fat. And David Goggins is like, I'm going to tell them, holy shit, you got fat. It's the nicest thing to fucking do.
Yeah.
You know the Fight Club scene where they're in the gas station and Tyler Durden talks to the guy that works at the gas station, and he's like, "What? Give me your ID." He says, and he looks at his ID, and he's like, "Why are you working at the gas station?" He's like, "Oh, I try to become a vet." He's like, "Okay, so if you want to be a vet, what the fuck are you doing at the gas station?" He's like, "Oh, the pressure, it's really fucking hard." And he's like, "Ah, okay, come with me." And he takes his gun out. He takes him behind the gas station, and he takes the ID, and he says, "I now know where you live. Okay, if you don't re-enlist into your vet school, and if you're not on your way to become a vet in like 2 months, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an extreme example. I do not endorse violence or gun use of any kind. I want to say this too, because some motherfucker's gonna put this out of context. But Edward Norton's character then said, "Holy shit, what did you just do? You traumatized this poor guy who works at a gas station. Leave the motherfucker alone." And Tyler Durden said, "Tomorrow this guy is going to wake up in the morning. He's going to taste his breakfast cereal, and it's going to be the best fucking breakfast cereal that he's ever had in his fucking life, and then he's going to get his fucking life in order. I just created this guy. I made him the best fucking day that he will ever have." Which, again, I'm not saying you should do this or you should be that aggressive, but I say, metaphorically speaking, as a fable story, this is a pretty good example of how radical honesty, even if it is painful in the short term to someone else, can actually result in a life change for the positive, for the better.
Those are the best kind of friends. And you find amongst people of high status, people who are very professional, the 1%ers, they are not only very direct with one another, but they seek feedback from each other. Literally, I have a friend in Dubai. He makes about $1 million a month.
Nice.
Literally, just profit, $1 million a month. Wow. And after an event where he was speaking, he came up to me and he asked me, he said, "I'm not making anywhere near $1 million a month." He said, "Shako, give me some feedback." He said, "Give me some feedback for my presentation, for my speaking skills. Even how you see me socially, give me some feedback." This is somebody making $1 million a month, bro. They are humble. They are open-minded. And they are open to feedback from their close friends, people that they trust, and people that they respect as well. Because there's a fine balance between listening to everybody's opinion, because there's a lot of haters that tell you. Somebody told me yesterday I shouldn't post my Rolex on my story. I said, "Who the fuck are you?"
What the fuck?
Just some dude on my reply to my story. It was in my request. I rarely check my DMs, but
Shout out to this guy.
yeah, shout out to this.
He noticed me.
Exactly. He said I shouldn't post my watch on my story. I said, "You shouldn't tell people what to do." It's like, I don't even know who you are. You have an anonymous profile. So there's going to be a lot of people trying to tell you what to do as well, in terms of haters, and it's usually anonymous accounts. But on the flip side, when you have a small, tight circle of trusted comrades, alliances that you've built, people that you know are genuine, they're authentic, and they want the best for you as well. You can tell that they're not competing with you, at least not in a malicious way. Those are people that absolutely I will take feedback from you. For example, a couple of months ago, talking a little bit about business here, I think it was November. The first half of the month was very slow for us, very slow. And I didn't know why. That's what I said. I don't know why it's slow. I had dinner with a friend of mine, very, very good friend. And he said to me, how many sales calls did you have? And I said, this much. And he said, how many DMs were sent? I said, no, this much. And he goes, so you do know why it's been a slow month. I was like, oh yeah. He just pulled me up on it.
Oh,
you know?
beautiful.
Ended up having our biggest month in November, actually. That was a record. Yeah. So it was having a conversation with a friend who wasn't afraid to call out my bullshit. Wasn't afraid to say, Shako. He actually said to me, he said, shout out Giuliano Gonzalez, by the way. It's him. Networking wizard. He said that I was approaching the problem emotionally. He said, you're approaching it emotionally. This is a business problem. It's a numbers problem. And if I didn't have a friend in my life or friends who can directly tell me what I need to hear in the moment, I wouldn't be leveling up. And that's what I do for my friends as well. It's what I do, obviously, for my clients. And iron sharpens iron. That's what you find.
Man, I love that. Iron sharpens iron, man.
Yeah, I didn't come up with them.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you, number one, drop a like and a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Number two, if you're watching this on iTunes or Spotify, leave a 5-star rating. It helps a ton to get this podcast out to more people. It's been growing super duper well, and it helps me get more awesome guests like this one here for you. So make sure you do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate the living hell out of you. And now back to the episode.
Where do most of your clients come from? Instagram?
Yeah.
What do they usually say? Do they say, I just found you? Do they say, I've been following you? What is like the thing that triggers them to come to you?
It's usually they've been following me for a while because I have quite a large following and they love my content and they get on a call with me and they become a client.
Sick.
Yeah.
When I looked at your content, man, how many followers you got? 350,000 or something like that?
About 305,000.
What are sort of, usually when I work with clients and they get to 100K something plus followers, there's like a handful of breakout reels that went viral. They got them to that level. Which one were they for you? I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, if you scroll down to almost a year ago, there was one video in particular where the hook was, here's what to say if
I
somebody...
got stuck with the girl in there.
That's my wife.
Yeah? Dude, she's beautiful, man. If I may say so. That was like, I scrolled through, I'm like, that's the one I want to watch. Works super well.
Thank you so much.
Works super
I
well.
use her as clickbait.
Yeah.
Shamelessly.
Same, yeah.
Of course. There was one video where I said, here's what to do if somebody outright disrespects you.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Very strong hook. I didn't even expect it to do that well. It did about 9 million views.
Dang.
About 150,000 followers from that. And then I doubled down. So the next few reels were, here's how to gain power and respect if somebody disrespects you. And then about 100,000 followers from then. It just started stacking on.
It's these power words.
Power and respect.
Disrespect.
Exactly.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, here's how to assert yourself.
Yeah. That is the exact wording that people in the audience have.
It's a little bit disappointing at the same time as well. It's like, do I really have to talk about something so negative for you to resonate with my content?
I remember that it was exactly the same. It's exactly the same now, right? I want to talk about like a lot of times I want to talk about like the nuances behind something and like here's my content strategy and people are like, yeah, it's cool. But then I'm like, how to go viral in 30 seconds? People are like, whoa! The 3 things to always go viral with. People are like, it's exactly
Become a billionaire in 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It's the exact that disappointment. It's like, really, guys? That's the one? Really? Yeah. Come on. There's much more behind this.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But that's how you reel them in. And then.
But it's social media marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they get in with this and then watch the deeper shit, that justifies it.
That's why I like this though. That's why I like podcasts and YouTube, especially. I'm focusing a lot on YouTube now, doing more. I'm currently recording a long form video while I'm in Vienna, doing a Vienna trip, talking about self-belief, social confidence. And the people that watch those videos, I think they become really good, solid clients as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the short form, it's chaotic. But that's why I just dedicate one day a month to recording a bunch of reels and then forgetting about it.
Knock it out, see what sticks. Yeah.
Yeah, just get the team to post.
I noticed that too, like over the years. I've had people on with like 1 million Instagram followers, and it's like, it's okay. Like you have them on. I mean, I always love the conversations, but in terms of like exposure, it's like, yeah, it's decent. But then you have someone on that has like 20,000 followers on their podcast channel. Completely different. Like these are 20,000 die-hard fans. And the reason for that is multifold. Number one, podcasts are not a scrollable feed type of medium. Right? So nobody's like...
It's not a dopamine fix.
Exactly. It's not... Nobody's like, let me go to my podcast app and see what fucking sticks. Right? That's what they do on a reel on Instagram. Yep. They open the feed and then they... Oh, cat on a skateboard. Oh, cute girl. Da-da-da. Right. Like I did in your Instagram. Oh, this is the one I want to watch. But on the podcast, is like, it's a conscious decision, right? They're like, I have an hour drive. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to listen to Max Tornow's podcast. Let me go check it out. And then you click on it and you deal with it. You dwell on that for the duration of the medium.
You're invested.
Say it again?
You're invested.
Exactly. You're invested. And that's why these 20,000 followers or viewers that watch a podcast are way more worth than 10 million that just scrolled and stopped for 5 seconds and
Completely
now it counts as a
agree.
view.
Yeah.
So which one is better than? Well, both. Exactly like you said. If someone finds your Instagram because they're randomly scrolling around and like, oh, this guy talks about power, it's great, and now watches the 10 seconds, oh, it was pretty interesting, and then they click follow, and then they go on YouTube and they see a 10-minute video. So that's the guy with the beard. Oh, I like the thumbnail. Boom. And now they're in for life. Yep. Sometimes, I mean, not always, but that's a great way to do it. This creating this omnipresence. That's I started that with my first business already. I'm like, I pictured the average guy in my audience, and I'm like, okay, guy commutes home from work. He's gonna scroll through Instagram. I want this guy to see my fucking face pop up. Then he comes home, opens his laptop, and goes to Facebook. I want this guy to see my fucking face pop up. Then on Sunday, before he prepares to go to the work week, he's going to go on LinkedIn. I want this guy to see my fucking face pop up.
Not to mention people searching your name as well.
That as
all
well.
These things coming up.
Exactly. I want to be like, this is, you can't escape.
Yeah.
We compare it with like wearing down a gazelle. That's how we humans used to hunt. We were never ambush predators. We're never the fastest, strongest predators at all. We suck. What we did, though, is we would just run behind the gazelle for 2 fucking days until it collapsed from overheating, and then we had a feast. So that's kind of like how you got to see it with marketing nowadays.
Totally.
You can do direct conversion marketing, which we do a lot. We do ads, but the ad needs to be perfect.
Yep.
The hook needs to be on point. The click-through rate on point. VSL needs to be on point. You basically it creates about 2 months. It takes about 2 months to come up with a winning idea. And then it takes about 10 more months to perfect it and just tweak it and make it better and optimize it.
Interesting.
And that works. It's direct response marketing, meaning we have a lot of people. I mean, over the last 2 years, we really, really perfected that.
Do you mind if I ask what percentage of your clients come from ads?
Right now, almost everything.
Really?
Yeah, almost everything.
You mean like 90%?
Yes, right now, yes.
Oh my god.
Actually, right now probably less. But the 2 years between 2021 and 2023 was all ads.
Is it retargeting?
No, cold.
That is impressive.
Exactly, dude. I was 2 years of eating shit.
Yeah. You've really refined it.
Because we did only organic before that, right? RSD was only fucking organic. Maximum retargeting ads, but the rest were all organic. So it was all organic. I made all this money, and then I did Freedom Business Mentoring all organic till we basically closed everyone in our list. And then I was like, okay, I made all this money. It's starting to go down. You could tell it's getting less and less because we're closing everybody. And the organic brand wasn't growing fast enough to keep up with our closing. So I'm like, okay, do I want to retire, take all the money, fuck off to Bali, live there for 10 years, and then see what I want to do? Or do I want to figure out this cold traffic thing? And I'm like, and I've never been a guy that wanted to do the easy thing. Never.
No way you're retiring, bro.
No fucking way. I was when there was 2 girls. One, ice cold princess with a resting bitch face, as we call it, and one girl that was super friendly. I always wanted to talk to the resting bitch face girl.
You like a challenge.
The harder one. And so it was for the business. Now, granted, I thought it's going to take me 2 months to figure out cold traffic. It ended up being 2 years. But then we figured out cold traffic I had to exchange the entire team, entire sales team. It either left or we had to make them go because they could only close warm traffic fans. Couldn't close.
You had to find some real closers.
Some real closers, exactly.
Yeah.
Did that for 2 years. Just profit margins super low, right? Because all of a sudden you need to spend money to even get people, and then you don't close them. It's not a free lead that you lose. It's you lost money.
Yeah.
Every person you don't close, and then all of a sudden we fucking cracked it. Team A players on fucking point. Everybody crushing it. Procedures from the onboarding to the first kickoff call. Everything needed to be ultra tight because these are people that have their doubts. They are not sure if you're for real because they saw a fucking ad 20 hours ago.
It has to be so dialed in.
Everything, even once they bought it, needs to continue to be dialed in. So it forces you to be close to perfection. And then then we figured it out about 2023, summer 2023. I'm like, oh, this shit is running now. And then funny enough, I was doing an ayahuasca ceremony. It was September 2023, I think. And in that ceremony, I get this epiphany of like, you know, Max, what the true meaning of leadership is? It is serving the people around you with all your love, all your knowledge, all the energy that you have, until when the day comes where you need their help, they're gonna carry you. That was the exact words. I wrote them down like this. And I'm like, holy shit. So the next day I wake up and I message all my executives, my CMO, my CSO. I'm like, what do you need from me? Anything, I'll make it happen.
Wow.
Super sick.
When was this?
That was September 2023.
Wow.
It was in Ibiza, super sick retreat, ayahuasca retreat with a bunch of entrepreneurs. I closed like 4 of them. like 4 of the dudes that did the ayahuasca became my client. Super funny. Shout out to those guys. And then my CMO said, dude, we're crushing it, but it would be pretty sick if you could get us some free leads by doing organic again. And I'm like, say no more, fam. And that's how I restarted the podcast, started posting nonstop, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, really worked out on the viral thing. What makes people go viral, taught all the knowledge I learned to my clients, had those guys go viral. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we're doing a shit ton of organic on top of the paid. And the cool thing is, not only are you now getting free leads that just discover you freely, but also the people that know you from the ads. They're like, I saw an ad at first, I thought you weird, but then I started seeing all these videos pop up, and now I'm fucking
omnipresent.
Yeah, podcast especially. So funny. I don't even teach a lot on the podcast. It's
You're just
me
being
having
yourself.
Exactly.
You're being yourself, and people like you. They resonate with you. The ones that do, and they want to work with you.
Yeah.
As well. It's literally that. They might end up getting on a sales call or a coaching call with you and mentioning something that you mentioned on a podcast or here and there, and you realize, wow, this guy actually is here for me, not just the business itself.
That's exactly it, and it's like people vote with their wallet and they buy from the person they resonate with. I always thought they buy from the person with the most certificates or the guy that is. No, not even. It's an emotional decision.
Not a single client in my last 5 years. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients. Not a single client has asked me for my certification. I don't have one, by the way. I'm not giving any refunds out, but
No refunds.
Not a single person. It's so interesting that you had a business epiphany and realization during your ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh yeah.
Instead of some existential life.
Yeah.
Lesson, it was business.
I was afraid of that. I was like, oh no, what if I turn into a fucking hippie after that, you know? Not at all. I would never worked harder than after my ayahuasca ceremony.
It's not that surprising, I guess.
Business.
I mean, doesn't that just reaffirm the congruency of your
Good
business
point,
as well,
actually.
right?
Good point. It really is. It's a very good point that you brought that up. It's I think I realized that it's not separate. For none of us. It's not separate for you. It's not separate for Tom over there. It's not separate for Chris. People think it's like business and personal life. Motherfucker, when you have a business, you're all in. Because if you're not all in, you'll have a business for 2 months and then give up.
Yep.
So if you have a business for longer than 2 months, you're fucking all in. So, of course, when you're participating in a spiritual journey with ayahuasca, your brain is not like, what here's my life. It's like, what is my business? How can I serve people better in my business? How can I create more epic shit? How can I build more epic shit? What do I need to do to grow, to build more epic shit?
Give more.
Because you are your fucking business. It's like an extension of your arm. It's like a glove that you're putting on. It's like the sword that you yield. It's an extension of you. It's like the car, the Formula One car that you're driving. You're one with it. Not because it's a spirituality, because out of necessity. Because if you're not that, you're not going to crush it.
That's why I wear this. So
What's
that's my logo. The name of the company is Mind's Eye Status.
Ooh, that's a sick fucking logo, man.
Thank you, bro. With some black diamonds in the middle.
Ooh.
And every time I look at that, it's like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. My business is a ship. I like that you say it's like an extension of your arm or a sword. I see it as a ship. That means I'm on the ship. That means my family is on the ship. My friends are on the ship. Or maybe my friends are part of the fleet and we're heading in the right direction. Thank you. So I completely agree. It's not the business and then me. Everything that I've created, that you've created, that we are creating with our businesses, it's to fulfill our goals, our dreams, our desires, to give more to our families. I wouldn't have been able to get married the way that I did if it wasn't for my business. I wouldn't be able to be in Vienna meeting you, working online, living in Dubai, helping my family out financially. All of these things, it happened because of the business. And I take full responsibility for it as well. That's something that the best entrepreneurs, I'm not saying I'm the best entrepreneur, but it's a lesson that I've seen time and time again from very successful people. They take full responsibility for their lives. And some people prefer to be in a 9-to-5, and I don't resonate with that at all, at all. And as long as they're happy, but very interesting.
What was the thought process that got you into entrepreneurship in the first place?
I was having a conversation with a very good friend of mine, Justin Holland, who we used to do day game together. Nice. After watching RSD Max. Literally, we used to do day game together. And 5 years ago, I sat down with him and I said, man, I'm so bored of my corporate job. I was earning 6 figures. It was good, comfortable, safe, secure during COVID as well. I said, I'm so bored. I think I want to go study psychology. He said, why do you want to study psychology? That's 4 or 5 years of your life. I said, so I can coach people.
Class.
And he said, do you want to be a clinical psychologist? You want to be a psychologist? I said, no, I just want to coach him. And he said, you don't need to. You don't need to study psychology. You can just be a coach. What do you want to coach? I told him, I said, I want to teach what I know about communication, social confidence, and social dynamics. He said, do you have the experience? I said, yeah, I made the complete transformation myself. I used to be very, very, very shy and insecure years ago. That's how I got into this. So I do know what it takes. He said, so you have the experience. Do you have the knowledge and the skills? I said, yes. And he said, are you willing and happy to teach it? Absolutely. And he said, why don't you start it? And that's the night that I came up with the name with my brother, Mind's Eye Status.
Oh,
the moment I said it out loud, I'm like, that's it, Mind's Eye Status. Shako from Mind's Eye Status. So I made the company, opened the ABN, Australian business number. Literally, I gave myself 3 months to quit my job. I quit in 2 months. And I just never looked back, bro. No matter how low things got, never looked back. Because even on the months, over a year ago, not even that long ago, to be honest, when I was at the bottom of the bottom, financially, business-wise, I didn't even think about going back to a regular job. Like, once I'm in, I'm all in. And you can't even compare it. Once you get a taste of this, how the hell can you go back to working for a boss or compromising your authenticity? That's another huge benefit, not just the location freedom. The fact that I can be myself while working. Try being yourself 100% in the workplace. Saying everything that's on your mind.
Yeah. It's interesting. I really resonated with that of there was no question that I'd ever go back. No, nothing. No. The only thing in the very beginning that was a question for me is like when I started being an unpaid intern for RSD, the only plan B I had was go back to the army. Because I'm like, if shit fails, so go to the army. I had a pretty good rating. They like rate you. I could do anything. I could become an officer. I could be whatever the fuck I want. and I could go down to Kosovo because we had troops in Kosovo, and I would get paid like a shit ton extra. I get paid like 8-9K a month. So I'm like, if this internship thing doesn't work, I can always go back to the fucking army.
Wow.
But it was never a job. Even now, same as you said, like when we ate shit for 2 years trying to figure out cold traffic, the plan B was not to go back a job.
Yeah.
The plan B was just to cut down on expenses and maybe just be like, instead of having 20 people, just 5.
Yeah.
It was never get back to a job.
No.
No fucking way.
No.
Where do you see your business and yourself in like 5 years from now?
In 5 years' time, we would have. That's a good question. This is something I'm figuring out. I definitely know in the next year and even 3 years. But 5 years, we would have more coaches in the program. We would have a couple of more faces to Mind's Eye status, because at the moment we do have a coach, but he's not marketing at all. His name's Daniel. And we're looking at getting more coaches and actually branding and diversifying the marketing. Yeah. Kind of like what RSC did.
RSC,
Yeah. That is an inspiration. So it would be that. And also just for myself, working with very, very few high-level premium clients and running maybe a mastermind every now and then. That's what I see us doing, and being a global online business just as we are now. And a lot of my 5-year goals, to be honest, Max, are just family related as well.
Beautiful.
I want to have children.
How many?
I want to, if I could have 5.
Yeah,
bro.
damn, dude.
I'm originally Kurdish, so we have big families.
How many boys and girls, ideally?
Maybe, ideally, I mean, whatever God permits, but 3 older brothers and 2 younger sisters would be fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would be fine. That'd be a blessing. It'd be fine. So the boys can take care of the girls, but whatever God permits. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. I'd like to have a big family, retire my parents this year, God willing.
Nice.
Yeah. And buy them some properties around the world as well. So a lot of family oriented goals.
Where do your parents live right now?
In Sydney, Australia. I grew up in Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We moved there when I was 2 years old, so I was an immigrant growing up. And growing up, we were at a disadvantage. So that created a lot of insecurities when I was in high school, in university, which is why I ended up going down that rabbit hole of personal development. But I grew up in Sydney. In 2019, I did a Europe trip with my brother for some family events. And I fell in love with Europe, man. I got to tell you.
Yeah,
I told myself, that was in 2019, I told myself, I'm going to study psychology somewhere in Sweden. And that's in 2020, that's when I said, okay, how can I study psychology so I can go overseas and live in Europe? Who knew that I would open a coaching business and then end up living in Europe for a while?
It's a funny common theme amongst high achievers that they're coming from some sort of disadvantaged childhood or youth. How many of your clients come from a healthy middle class or perhaps even upper class versus lower class?
That's a good question. I would say most would be middle class, but there's a few upper class as well lately because a lot of them are coming in from Dubai.
I mean, they're upper class now because they're in
Oh,
leadership position.
you mean originally?
Originally.
Most of them worked from the ground up. Most of them came from zero. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I have very, very successful clients. Some, making over 400K a month. And they came from very humble beginnings.
Wow.
So that does tend to be a theme. You're absolutely right. I mean, we've all heard the story of Max Tornow coming from the cow town and working himself and shadowing Owen and Julian, barely getting paid, if at all.
Not first 6 months, nothing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Big kudos to you, brother. How many people would put their egos aside to do that, right? Right? How many people would put their egos aside to approach a pretty girl and get rejected? Or to put themselves out there on social media, create a video and face potential rejection. So it's a blessing. I would not change anything about my past. It's got me to where I am.
Why do you think is it that so many of the highest achievers come from such shitty fucking background? It's almost like, I hate to admit it, but it's almost like trauma is the best motivator for us to do shit, much more so than any sort of positive reinforcement. You know what I mean?
Bro, I reckon... Okay, hot take. I think most are going to fail miserably in life. most people who came from nothing are going to stay at nothing. But the ones that you see, they're the ones that crawled through the mud. They clawed their way out of hell to make something meaningful. One of my personal mentors, biggest personal mentor, his name's Ed Neeson. He's a Jungian therapist. And he's told me, no matter what you decide to do in life, make it meaningful. If there's a fork in the road, you don't know which direction to go any direction and make it meaningful. Whatever you decide to do. And that's the attitude that I have. Because what use is it to me or to you or to my family if I'm going to stay in a victimized mindset and say, it's too tough, these people are frauds and scams, and I'm too short, and I'm fucking bald, and this and that, nobody likes me, I was an immigrant. I have all the excuses in the world. I could write them out and they would all be valid. But even if they are valid, who gives a shit? Is that useful for you? So these people, to answer your question, why is it that a lot of these successful people came from humble beginnings? I would say we're actually just seeing the tip of the iceberg of what potential people have, because most of them, they don't crawl themselves out.
Why not?
They're addicted to, well, a lot of them could be addicted to failure. They could be comfortable in their positions, in their lifestyle. Some of them aren't exposed to the information that we've been exposed to. The way that I was exposed to personal development was actually accidentally finding The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
Wow, good book.
Accidentally finding it, reading it, it felt like a forbidden text. And then when I realized, wait, I can actually be more confident.
Yeah.
I can actually be more assertive. I'm not stuck how I am. I became obsessed with it because of that exposure to the information. And then obviously I started watching the dating, personal development advice. Same thing happened. And that exposure to the information rewired my brain from victim, insecure, selfish, very egotistical. Because usually when you're insecure, it's usually ego as well. It's just you thinking that your problems have more substantial weight than they actually do. Nobody gives a shit about your problems, bro.
Yeah.
We give our problems way too much credit. And so you're exposed to that information, and the ones that take responsibility for it are like, you know what, I'm going to do something. They're the ones that win. The ones that do something consistently. People ask me, how did you blow up on Instagram? You have over 300,000 followers. Like, what did you do? What's the trick? It's like, my brother. No word of a lie. I've been posting consistently without fail every single week for the past 5 years. I haven't missed a single week in the past 5 years.
Damn.
That's what led me to 300,000 followers. It's not one trick. It's not one scheme. It's not one scam.
Yeah.
It's consistent work that I was willing to do because, as we said, there's no other option.
I always wonder, it's so strange, like, it sounds so weird, like, I don't hang out with many people that are outside of that ecosystem. I spend time with my clients, I spend time with my staff, with my senior executives, with my friends who are also entrepreneurs. The only person that is kind of outside of that circle is my girlfriend. And I'm like, I fail to resonate every day more and more with like a regular person for whom just giving up is a totally valid choice. Like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? So every time I talk to like a friend of a cousin of mine at a party, and they're just like, yeah, I work in a bank, you know. How do I make money? It's all a scam, right? I'm like, no, you just provide
paying the
value.
mortgage.
Yeah. You just provide value. You create something. Yeah, but it doesn't work, does it? Of course it works, right? And they're so far into that other realm that you're like, what? This is everybody out there? And then funny enough, I have that realization every time I have a cheat day. I love my cheat days, man. Don't ever take my cheat days away. So I eat clean most of the time.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, unreal amounts of food. Cereal.
Cereal.
Love cereal, bro.
Of all things.
Bro. You don't like cereal?
I like cereal,
best.
but I mean, you seem like
Special
cereal's-
K with raw full milk from the farmer. So here's what I usually do. In Austria, we have this like farmer. You go to the farmer, and they have like a little house next to their regular house attached. You just walk in, and you just grab anything you want, and you just put the money there. There's not even like a person from which you purchase, because it's countryside. Everybody trusts each other.
Okay.
They have a fridge with raw milk. It says €1 per raw milk. You take the raw milk out, you throw €1 in. You could steal
That's
it, of
sick.
course, but you don't. You just take it.
That's like natural milk.
Full on, like, oh, it's from that cow outside. It's like, that's the cow, and the milk is
That's
now
from
in your
Daisy.
head. Yeah, this is the thing. So that, and then Special K.
Special
You
K.
Special K?
Yeah, don't they brand that as healthy?
Yeah,
They
it's
do.
horrible.
It's bullshit, yeah, of
death
course.
for you. It's
Yeah, yeah.
But I eat a bowl of that usually as like an entree, like as a
I
beginner.
did not
thing.
expect that cheat meal. I thought you were gonna say donuts or some shit, fried chicken.
Donuts also, yeah. But cereal is the thing. And then
Cereal is the
like what I really like is like a self-cook cheat day, because I'm very much a practical person. So usually I either have a cook myself, or if I do need to cook myself, I cook it fast. And like I don't cook anything that's hard to cook. It's usually just steak, cereal on both sides, done. Eggs, done. Chicken, cereal on both sides, bowl of fruit, done. But when I have a cheat day, sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna cook something. Here I am, like in my fucking shorts, right? Like in a shitty shirt, and I cook, and then I make like burgers, fried chicken with bacon around it, extra cheese.
Oh, wow. You like to
cut up
cook?
the onions, yeah, put avocado on it, create my own sauce and shit like that. And then it takes hours. It's like I have to drive to the grocery store, and I'm in the store. I'm like, where am I? I'm in the store. I'm like buying shit. And then I eat pizza, lasagna,
I love lasagna.
ice cream, and this is all one day. This is not.
Oh, wow.
This is all one day. Pizza,
Wow.
lasagna, ice cream, burgers.
But you've been very consistent with your health as
yeah,
well. I know
yeah.
you've been working with your health coach for years.
Yeah, I've had many different sort of health coaches. But what I was gonna say is, and when I have a cheat day or a cheat meal, and I feel sluggish and I go carb shock and food coma, right? I'm like, wow, that's how regular people feel every day.
All the time.
They're like, that's like, what does a regular guy eat for breakfast? Like a bagel, right? And like a frappuccino, which like
Cereal.
cereal, like
Yeah.
with like 90 grams of sugar. And then I'm like, could I now get up and like create a marketing campaign? Could I like create the script of my next 10 reels? Fuck out of here. I want to fucking watch a movie, and I'm not going to watch a Ridley Scott epic drama. I want to watch some stupid drama YouTube bullshit. You know, like the Mr. Beast situation is bad. You know, all these stupid clips.
Just brain rot.
My brain doesn't even want to have highbrow entertainment. My brain is just like, give me the drama. Influencer got murdered.
Pranks.
A prank video. Cat on a skateboard. And I'm sitting there like with a belly like I'm pregnant with twins. I'm like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, fucking whatever it's called, where he's pregnant. And I'm just like, I don't even want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to decide on a movie. I'm just going to scroll through fucking TikTok for 2 hours. I don't have TikTok, but it's like Instagram Reels for just hours. And then I do watch a movie, and I'm like, I want to scroll through Instagram while watching the movie. And that's a regular person's everyday life. Every day they feed themselves bullshit, then they're craving more bullshit, and it's just a downward fucking spiral. So to be fully honest too, like, because we talked about what motivates people, I think a lot of change would be induced if you're just a regular person and you're seeing other people crushing. I don't want to build my business.
Yeah, your
I'm just like,
environment.
I don't have time. I'm lazy. Gotta work hard. Change your fucking nutrition, man. Get sleep. Get at least 7.5 hours of sleep. For me, it's even 8.5. But at least 7.5 hours of fucking sleep a night. Cut out alcohol, nicotine. We're going to smoke cigars later, but, you know, I'm not going to smoke every day. You know what I mean? It's a special thing. Cut out processed carbohydrate. You know what a processed carbohydrate is? Okay, I'm going to tell you what a processed carbohydrate is without needing a nutritional degree. You take fruits and vegetables. Everything else is a processed fucking carbohydrates. Literally. Bread, processed carbohydrate. Candy, processed carbohydrate. Pasta, processed carbohydrate. If you eat meat, fruits, and veggies, and you know what? Don't even count the calories. Just eat meat, fruit, and veggies as much as the fuck you want. Eat a fucking kilogram of strawberries. I don't care. Eat it. If you do that for about a week, It's going to feel like shit for 3 days because you're completely addicted to sugar, by the way, which almost everybody on earth is. You're completely fucking addicted to sugar. But if you get through it for the first 3 days, after a week, you will have more focus, more energy.
Yep.
You will literally be like, why do I feel so good? What? I just woke up and I just felt ready to crush the day. I felt energetic. I had focus. Then I got up and I got to work, and then I brought up the trash. And then, you know what? I went for a run. I never went for a fucking run. Do that. You'll be surprised how much your body is capable, whether you're 15 or 50 or 60. It has profound effects on you. The shit food that you're putting into you is the literal reason why you're not where you want to be.
Do you meditate?
Yes.
Nice.
Fuck you.
Yeah, of
you
course.
look like you fucking meditate like 2 hours a day, man. The way you're so present when you're talking, because you said earlier, like, talk slowly. I'm like, fuck, that train left a while ago for me. How much do you meditate?
Well, I pray 5 times a day, and that has become my meditation because I'm Muslim. I'm a practicing Muslim. That's become my meditation. But prior to that, because I only started doing that about a year ago, prior to that, I was meditating 20, 30 minutes a day.
I heard that prayer in its most essential form is in essence a form of meditation.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, and I didn't mean to completely change the subject.
No,
by the way,
I
but
love it.
It's on topic,
Dude,
though,
fuck
because
it, podcast. We'll do whatever we want.
But if you think about it, it does go hand in hand, because presence is a habit like diet, which is severely lacking as well. And I had the sense that you did meditate based off everything that you just said previously. But anyway, when you're praying, to pray effectively, you need to be present to the moment. You need to be focusing on the words that you're saying. In Islam, we have different postures that we do. For example, we prostrate, we bow down, put our face to the ground. When you do that, you're submitting to the will of God. And when you're submitting, just like meditative practices, you're probably familiar with David Hawkins, author of Letting Go. The letting go process is a surrender process, religiously speaking. Even through meditation, when you meditate and you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling without resisting it, you're surrendering to what is. That's the exact same process during prayer as well, except we have maybe mantras or prayers, words that we're saying through the process as well. It is completely meditative if you are intentional with it.
Can you walk me through a prayer session? What is there a procedure behind it? Because you said there's mantras. Do you use the same mantras every time, or is it depending on what you're going through in your life?
Yeah, so from an Islamic perspective. Yeah, so I actually, for the record, I reverted to Islam about a year ago. So there are much, much better sources of information out there. But for the record, and based off my experience, the 5 daily prayers start with you doing a ritualistic washing of the hands, the mouth, and the face, and the forearms, and the feet, from the top of the head to the bottom. Basically, you wash your feet and the top of your head as well. And that is to ground you. That is to remove you of the sins of the day, ritualistically speaking. And then you go onto the prayer mat and you start off by saying, I bet this has never been said on your podcast before. You start off by saying Allahu Akbar.
Definitely never been said, yeah.
And what that actually means, the direct translation is God is greater. Not God is the greatest. Yeah, most people think it means God is the greatest, but it doesn't mean that. It means God is greater. Greater than your problems. Greater than the work you got to do. Greater than the stress that's on your mind. The argument that you just had with your girl. God is greater than anything that's on your mind. So you focus on the present. And then we recite a chapter from the Quran, which is a very short one. It's the first one, called Surah Al-Fatiha, where we basically ask for guidance. We praise God. We ask for guidance. We ask to be put on the straight path. We ask to focus on the straight path and not be distracted to the path which is distracting. That's a very bad translation, to be fair. But basically, we're asking to be put on the straight path and not distracted.
Yeah.
And we're submitting as much as possible. After that initial prayer, we can choose to add a second prayer, a different chapter from the Quran, which relates to maybe something that we're going through. For example, I might talk about the oneness of God, and Qul Huwallahu Ahad, which means there is no God but God, and sorry, no, it means say that there is only one God. And when we say one God, La ilaha illallah, which is also something that's said in Islam, means there are no gods but God. No gods, lower G, meaning the alcohol that you're about to have isn't a god. The pleasure you're about to pursue isn't a god. All the worldly pleasures, they're not gods. The only God that truly exists is God, which is all-knowing, everlasting, just completely omnipresent and all-powerful. And that's part of the reason why I ended up reverting, actually, because it aligned with my spiritual views through meditation so much. Pretty much what Eckhart Tolle talks about, a lot of it was very incongruent, very congruent, rather, with what Islam taught. Anyway, so we say that, and the rest of the prayer, we bow down as if to bow to God, and then we put our face to the ground to submit fully. And we wake up. I say wake up, but we sit up, but it's an act of waking up. And it's as if you're dying and then being reborn to remind us that, this is a fleeting life. And you pretty much repeat that 2 to 4 times depending on the time of day.
How long does one prayer session go?
On average, 4 to 5 minutes.
Sick. And these passages, do you recite them out of the Quran or do you memorize them?
You have to memorize them. As you're learning, you can have a piece of paper in front of you. That's what I did. And you can follow a guided prayer, which is what I did as well. But then you have it memorized.
What do you do with your mind? Do you try to think about something? Do you try to set an intention? I remember you talked about intention setting in your stories earlier today. Or do you try to have a blank mind and just whatever comes into your mind? Or how does that work?
Very good question. My approach is a mindful approach, as I said. And that is to simply focus on the words alone. As you know how in meditation you have your anchor of meditation. For example, you could have your breath, you could have the sounds in the room, or you could have the feeling of your body. If you're getting distracted, you go back to the breath, for example. Same thing in prayer. You're focusing on the words as your anchor of meditation and prayer. If you get distracted, you come back to the words, to those words in the Quran through the prayer. And you can set an intention in the beginning as well to ground yourself. But at the end of the prayer, when you finish like this. You look to your right, you say Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, which means peace be upon you. And then you look to your left and you say Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, which means you're spreading peace and positivity to the world as an intention at the end of every prayer. After you give those greetings, then you can pray and ask for whatever you want or speak to God in general.
Sick. You do that 4 times a day. So
5 times.
5 times?
Yeah.
So the first time right after waking up?
So it follows the cycle of the sun. So we do it before dawn. So before the sun comes up, we do it midday, usually around 12 o'clock. We do it in the mid-afternoon, around 3 o'clock, at sunset, and then at night as well.
But
So
you don't have to get up at night. Well, actually, so if you sleep, whatever, if you go to bed too late and you want to sleep until 10, you get up at night to hit it, basically?
Yeah, it depends on where you are in the world as well, because I know the sun goes down earlier here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it will depend where you are in the world. For example, in Dubai, the evening prayers are around 7 or 7:30 p.m., I believe. And I remember when I lived in Copenhagen, they were much, much earlier.
Yeah, it's like 3 p.m. in the winter,
Yeah, it was something like that. So it just depends on where you are.
Interesting. So when I meditate, it can widely range the feeling afterwards between, holy shit, I feel so refreshed, I needed this, and like, this kind of just did nothing for me.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine too, right? It's all about acceptance. Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about this of like, if you don't hit a single second of presence during meditation, don't judge yourself. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Do you have the same feeling for prayer?
Sometimes. And that's why having the consistent 5 daily prayers has been so helpful for me to ground myself, because even if I have a quote unquote bad prayer session during midday, for the afternoon prayer, I can get back into the rhythm of things. Yeah, and plus you have the ritual of the washing, so it really does ground you. But it's very, I don't want to say very common, but a lot of people do have that problem where they just go through it robotically instead of being very conscious. It's very similar to meditation.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot, and it's like for me as a perfectionist, it was always I was always so hard on myself when I didn't hit the presence, and then of course it incentivizes you to not do it again because you feel bad afterwards. So I just gave myself the rule of like, you're just gonna sit down, but you're just gonna do it, even if it quote unquote doesn't work. It's about the fucking consistency. And funny enough, everybody says that is like, I do 15 minutes. Well, I set the timer to like 16. So I give myself 1 minute to kind of settle in. You know, if something itches, I need to scratch. I get this 1 minute where I'm allowed to still move, and then I settle in. And then you do this for like 15 minutes. And then maybe on average, you have maybe 10 seconds of pure presence. That's the ratio, you know?
Yeah.
And, but these 10 seconds, man, where you're just like, you're like, all of a sudden you're like,
It's what you needed.
exactly. And it's like, I often get this feeling of like, I'm in the room and the room is in me. It's this dual or whatever it's called. It's like you're inside the room, but somehow the room is also inside you. You're everything and everything is you. This whole idea of being everything. And you have this for like 3 seconds and like, holy shit. You start thinking like, oh my God, I'm so present right now. Oh, stop thinking because you're so present. Oh, fuck, stop thinking. And then you kind of wobble back in and out for a couple seconds. And that's everything, like you said. That is so worth it already.
Yeah, I find when you practice meditation consistently, especially with a guide maybe or a teacher, you can have much longer periods of presence than the 10 seconds, literally for minutes on end.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest benefits of meditation for me, and I think I might have learnt this from Owen actually, one of his wild 2-hour videos. Yeah, huge shout out to Owen Cook, who... Basically, it's learning how to, as I said before, learning how to snap yourself into state. That's something that meditation has taught me, and that's what I teach my clients now as well.
No shit.
Yeah. It's like if you're tired, if you're jet lagged, if you feel like you don't want to talk, I can teach you how to snap yourself into state.
How do you do it?
Well, you practice with meditation. That's the tool. That's the secret weapon, I call it. So you practice constantly to... Actually, I have a meditative practice that I can share with the audience. I think they'll like it.
Hell yeah.
Basically... You can try this if you're not driving. Close your eyes and look into the blackness of your eyelids. So just look into the darkness of your eyelids with that penetrative awareness. Have that vision where you're literally looking just into the blackness of your eyelids. That is your subject of meditation. If you start overthinking, focus back into the blackness. Now, do the exact same thing in your next social interaction, except without your eyes closed. You do it with the person that you're with.
Wow.
It's just penetrative awareness. And you can snap yourself into state like that. And you just notice the silence between your thoughts. Sit in that space. Talking about acceptance, notice anything that comes up and just accept it. I mean, even you look a bit more calm after I said that.
Literally, I wasn't going to say it, but I'm like, damn, I'm in the zone right now.
Oh, this is good stuff.
That was really good. I'm literally like, holy fuck, it's working.
I just gamed him.
This is really, really like legit. It's funny that you noticed. I'm like, oh shit, I hope he doesn't notice. I'm so in the zone right now. You should have like, I'm not sure, maybe you do have that already. You should have like a guided meditation where you just walk someone through with your voice like that, and you should give it to your clients and they got to listen to it every day.
I do, but it's only 5 minutes. I want to do a deeper one.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
Do that and put it on your YouTube, but tell every one of your clients that they have to watch it every day. You get a shit ton of views, and then it bounces up the algorithm, and
it helps them too.
It helps them too. Duh, yeah, that too. And then more and more people will watch it, and then it will show up.
That's a great idea.
Shit like that, yeah.
Man, why didn't I do that? Because the guided meditation they use, it's a Google Drive.
Yeah, put it on YouTube. It will, over time, it will get like thousands of views. You know.
I can use that as a lead magnet as well.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking
lead
dope.
magnets have been killing it lately, bro.
Always.
Yeah.
People love free shit.
They do.
Yeah. Well, I hope people enjoy this free motherfucking podcast. You did not get charged for this podcast, folks. How long have you been talking? Anybody check the 2 hours already?
It's exactly 2 hours.
Damn.
There you go.
Shako, how can people find you?
Just
how can it work with you?
Shako Lokman on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. Let us know that you came from the Max Tornow podcast. We'll take care of you.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's
If you're a CEO in any sort of management position, you want to work on your communication, on your presence, you want to have guidance, you want to get fucking better at what you do, we'll put all your links down in the description below as well.
Appreciate it.
All that jazz. And let's grab some steaks,
And
potatoes,
cigars.
desserts.
Yep.
A lot of desserts, cigars.
Oh, today's the cheat day.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Amazing.
Fucking special occasion. You have everybody here.
Got the boys.
Yeah, and then grab some good solid 8 hours of sleep.
Yep.
And then back to conquering the world, man.
Amazing. Thank
Thanks
you for
being
today.
on the podcast, bro.
My pleasure, brother. Thanks for having
Fucking
me.
pleasure.
On this podcast, I talk to a lot of great entrepreneurs, big brands, and people that are absolutely crushing it in their fields. If you want to work with me one-on-one to help you start your business, scale your business, automate your business, use AI to make money online, even if you've never done anything like this before, then go ahead and use the link down in the description below to apply to work with me directly and my team. We're going to be working with you one-on-one. We're going to help you make a ton of money. We're going to help you automate your business. Whatever it is that you want to be doing or that you are doing already, we can probably help you. If you're making less than $500,000 a month, you want to get to that level, we can probably help you. So link down in the description below. Thank you so much for listening / watching and being part of the Max Tornow podcast crew. I appreciate the hell out of you and talk soon.